Right, I think we're live. Okie dokie. So, hello and welcome to the third GP, I guess. So, basically, this week I am not racing. I'm doing the. I can hear myself.
It all went wrong, Ben. Everything went wrong. Hello, guys. I'm back for another random race. GP, virtual GP? I think virtual needs to be in there somewhere, Ben. Yeah, sorry, everyone. Internet and just the world is all in a bit of a sticky situation at the moment. So Ben is now taking over streamer duty, and I'm riding the back of Ben today. So Ben, you're in control of the cameras. All of the pressure is on you, and you're going to do a great job. I already know.
God, I have no idea how to control this. Like, I literally just we switched this over like just before we started. So this is interesting.
It was a panic. It was a panic. So, well, Ben, I guess a crash course on using the cameras.
Yeah.
Trackside is very obvious. Use that when and where you can. Use this qualifying session to get an idea of what the trackside cameras look like. Roof is also a very good camera for onboard footage. It's the one that I use most. To select the driver, you have to use the scoreboard on the left-hand side, and a massive crash ahead of Rowan here. Click on the driver that you want to spectate, and that will put you to that view. So, for an example, shall we see what Max is up to?
Sure. Oh, sliding.
Warming up the tyres, sliding, going into, I believe that is Sterling.
Yeah.
Corner. That's my favourite corner.
Gav, if I click on number 3, tell me how long it takes for you. Oh no, Max is number 3. If I switch to number 1, sorry. If I switch to number 1, tell me how long it takes for you to see number 1. 3, 2, 1.
It's instant.
It's instant.
Yes.
Oh, of course, because you're. Are you watching this? Of course. Perfect. Right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm having panic attacks all over.
No, we're all good. We're up to date.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for AJ to come round to the start finish. I hope he does a full flying lap after this, so I can talk you through the track. Actually, I'll probably grab Jason. Should I grab Jason? Bring him in?
Yeah, go on. You can grab Jason. I'll just quickly cover over a few things. So, this is the third of a series. The first one was very fun and was almost done as a one-off, but it went too well. So we're making it a series. This is the third of which, hosted at Brands Hatch, which I think is the last British race we have planned for the series so far. Next week we are going to Le Mans, the dreaded, famous, beloved Le Mans circuit, which we're hoping to do a full day cycle in as well, not to give away too many spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be interesting because we can stretch time, bend it to our will. So.
Yeah, we won't do a full 24-hour race. It'll be for 35 or whatever is deemed appropriate.
It might be slightly longer because of the Le Mans effect that we've gone for. The Le Mans is always longer. Some of the series that they do worldwide with the endurance series are shorter than Le Mans. Le Mans is classically 24 hours, obviously, so we might, in retrospect, have it a little bit longer than the others. Not much longer, but we will have it a little bit longer, maybe. Oh, someone's hit on the side. That's very nice. Congrats to him.
While we are still in qualifying, Ben, also on the timing board, every now and then you'll see a yellow triangle on the right of the thing where you see the pit signal now. That is to indicate that driver is 1 second behind the driver in front.
Okay.
So that's a good indicator of which camera you should go to. So if someone's 1 second behind, you kind of want to watch them. Because they're the ones who's going to be battling, and already we have bumpers flying, people finding the walls. I wonder where Keith lost the track, and a little bit of a drift there going through the corner as well. So we have 13 competitors with us today. Would have been 14 with Ben. Again, I apologise, but thank you everyone for joining the stream, for watching, and for taking part.
Right. I'm going to undeafen Jason. Jason, you there?
Hello.
Hi. Could you do, on your next lap round, we're currently watching you, do a course run through?
Why, certainly. Yeah, just come up to the end of a flying lap right now.
We're currently on keep. There you go.
On board.
And perfect.
Roof.
And you can
Should be
also
a-
bring up the speed as well. Sorry, Jason. Away to you.
Alright.
Right, okay, so this I'm hoping will be the pole lap. Lo and behold, it is. Right, so first corner, brake on the second to last board, down to fourth. You want to hug this inside apex, push it right out on the exit. Careful not to obviously get penalties. Druids, second gear, easily. Down to third. Try and push it as wide as you dare. So that's very slippy on the exit. Down to third. Entry quite wide. It gives you the later apex. Lets you get a better run out of the corner. Just long straight. This is the send it corner because you sling it in fifth gear. Keep it flat. Down to fourth. Don't ever go on that overrun there, because chances are you'll spin the car out. It's another blind entry to a corner. Very, very fast complex on the second sector here. Hugging all of the inside apexes as tight as possible to sort of pull the car around. And of course, last corner, same thing. You've got to push it in really deep into the corner, hug the apex, push it out wide, and across the line.
Perfect.
And whilst we still have you, Jason, Brands Hatch is a notoriously difficult circuit to overtake on. Where would be your key points to overtake?
So, I'd say the first corner is a really dangerous place to overtake, but it can be done. If you get a good enough run up the inside, it puts you in quite a nice position to go for a lunge or a dive bomb in the next couple corners, like the hairpin especially. I'd expect to see some good battling going on throughout the first sector. The second sector is a bit harder to overtake, mainly because it's all just fast corners. I am going to run out of fuel here, so I'm just going to return to the pit stop.
That's fine. Alright, we'll go on
Yeah,
one
run
major
and lean.
here.
But yeah, so second sector, there's not many overtaking opportunities. You'll probably see people run, you know, like too wide into a corner, but then back out last second because it's just so difficult to keep cars going fast through that complex together.
And you were the winner of the first ever race. Congratulations again.
Thank you very
However,
much.
an injury led you missing the last one, so you've got some points to catch up on. You're currently third in the championship standings, which is respectable considering you've had one DNF. Or DNS even. How do you think you'll fare against Adam? Because he was the standout star of the last race at Alton. Do you think you can beat him in the race pace?
So far, the pace for Brands Hatch has actually been really good in my favour. Obviously, doing testing beforehand, topped practice yesterday, and currently sitting first in qualifying. See if he has any response to that. But yeah, the Alton Park race really showed that he's very, very, very fast, and he's consistent as well, which is the scary part.
Exactly, because everyone, well, I say everyone, most people can put a flying lap together. You only need to concentrate for 1 minute, 30 seconds, but a race is a 30-minute sprint. And it's a very different beast as well, because you're battling for position for most of the time, unless you get into the front row and you clear off at the start of the race.
Yeah, that's got to be the strategy, really, is to get the jump and, you know, get in the defensive position, because Brands Hatch is quite an easy track to defend on. Obviously, defend from dive bombs, so you can sort of predict it. But with him, you know, he's like 3 tenths away from me as it stands. I'd expect to see some good racing up the front, and especially between Bongo and Ollie. There another two are quite close to each other right now.
And Ollie has been a very consistent racer, currently topping the championship with a second place and a fastest lap time. Well, 2 second places, sorry, and 1 fastest lap time. In terms of consistency when it comes to the championship, are you even thinking about that, or are you purely taking it race by race?
I'd say on a race by race basis. I mean, at the end of the day, it's go out there, have a drive around with a bunch of people, have some fun, and so far it has been. So.
And
Yeah,
here I'm trying to make a competitive story. You are right. You are right. This is all completely.
Oh
for
no!
fun.
Trust me. There's some real competitive stuff going on behind the scenes, especially talk about Joel. Trying to give him some mentoring for this track. He managed to push a 129, which is obviously leader pace.
Now we're getting onto the front row of the grid. That would put him
Yeah.
in at least third place at the moment. So that's a really respectable lap time.
Yeah, he's. I'd expect him to be, high midfield today if he can, put some decent laps together.
See,
I think it is just that problem with consistency.
I told you, Ben. Joel is the Dark Knight of this
Well,
championship. He's going to come through.
We're watching him right now, and at the moment he's sliding everywhere, like oversteer. But we'll see what kind of lap times he put down. At the moment he's hanging around in 13th place. Of course, this is not practice. 8 minutes left of qualifying, so whatever he does here, it does actually mean something. So we'll have to see what he's doing.
Exactly, and to build up on that, we are slightly changing the format of the stream. Not sure if we'll keep this going forward, but we're starting to move away from having the practice session and we're going straight into the qualifying session. So if you do like that style, let us know. We just want to make it as entertaining to watch as well as fun for these guys racing.
Awesome. Joel's actually putting some stinking corners down. This is good. This is a good lap from him, I reckon. Apart from the start where he was sideways, just going down first corner. Ooh, slow down quite a bit there. Into the apex out wide. Oh, a little bit onto the grass. And
We've
across the line.
really changed the style of tracks as well. Joel, of course, going 10th place.
Respectable.
We started off with a very easy Silverstone National Circuit. We then went to a rather challenging Alton Park, which is challenging tight, but I feel like this is, again, the next level because the elevation change on this circuit adds that fourth element, which was kind of missing in the other two.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people at the moment hanging around in the garage. So that's Martin, Max, and Ollie. Oh, there's something interesting going on here. I think that's Alfie.
We've also got someone off the track.
Yeah, Alfie in that car.
Oh, a bit of a drift!
See
I
what's
think
going on.
the rear left just caught the curb and that dragged them out wide and they're pulling over to give Adam the track. Although I don't think Adam's on a flying lap, otherwise he would have been livid because his lap time has been...
It's a proper grouping. This is only qualifying and they're getting vicious. what's going to happen later? Oh my god.
Well, of course, wouldn't happen in normal racing, but it's only virtual, so get on the grass, get completely out of the way. There's no need to interrupt everyone's lap time. And that's a beautiful drift!
That's a great view there. Seeing everyone coming around. Oh! Who was that?
Did we miss something in the back of the screen?
Yeah, just oh no, who is it? I'm trying to think who it is. It's Joel. I think it's Joel. Yeah. It was Joel.
Ben, off the top of your mind, what cars did they have to select from for this race?
Well, although it's heavily dominated by one type of car, this is the touring car class. So the cars they could have chosen from were the BMW 2-litre touring. Oh, Jason's done a bin.
Going a
As I
bit too
spin it.
fast.
Yeah. And so you can the BMW, Vauxhall Astra. You've also got the Mercedes A45, which is actually the one in front of the car we're currently looking at. And he's just, yeah, right, yeah.
Well, everyone is the last 5 minutes of qualifying. Everyone is pushing their damnedest. now.
Yeah,
They're
Jonathan's in
going
an
for it.
A45. That's the one. So yeah, a very distinct car. It seems plenty more aerodynamic, the A45. It just seems to lack in low end power where you're pulling yourself out of a corner. So for that reason, people are choosing Megane. So yeah, the Renault Megane is definitely the workhorse of the group that people are choosing. But what's going on by? Yeah, what's this? It's not even the race, Ruben. What's going on?
I was wondering if Ruben was on a fastest lap and the car in front
Jonathan
failed to
stopped
get out
him.
of the way.
Oh, looks like he's going to bin it anyway. And he's going to come straight back onto the track. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Oh.
Maybe that was giving a slipstream. Giving Ruben a slipstream
Yeah,
down the
exactly.
main straight.
Ruben is staying in 11th at the moment. I think I'm
And,
not sure
well,
what's-
and also losing
and
it in
losing
paddock
it.
bend. So
Yeah,
for
both
anyone
cars
who
are
has intense knowledge of Brands Hatch, you will know that all of the corners are pretty much named after famous British motorsport racers. I haven't learned all of the corner names, but it's taken me a while to get just a few. And this really is, Silverstone's the home of British motorsport, but this is kind of the museum of British motorsport. This is just historical racing for Britain, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Right. We've got 3 minutes left, so this is when we're going to start seeing some people maybe just backing off in a third sector. Or people just sitting in the pits doing nothing because they're completely content with what they've achieved. And you know what? I say fair enough. But actually, Martin and Max have both gone out. They were in the pits
that's
for...
the thing I was going to say. Again, I've forgotten from last week, but I'm pretty sure it was mentioned. Does the track rubber in at all? Is there an evolution to the circuit on this virtual program?
Yeah, so I'll take that question. Basically, in this game, they have a feature called Live Track, which affects how weather and obviously tyres then affect the grip levels on the track. So as a track will get raced more, obviously more rubber from the tyres will get laid down, it will become less grippy over time. Combine that with obviously your tyres wearing out, you know, late race in this 20 lap stint should lead to some interesting lines being taken, namely wide from spinning.
So you're not necessarily gaining an advantage by waiting for the last 5 minutes and doing your sprint runs, your qualifying.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it does look like, you hate to say it too quick. Adam's currently out. I think he's desperately trying to knock you off of that podium spot. With some circuits, such as Silverstone, second place isn't actually so bad. Is this one of those circuits where second place can beat you into the first corner?
See, I'm not too sure because I don't actually know for myself if second place is the better option because it might have the inside line for the first corner, which obviously sets you up for an overtake into the first hairpin. So I might have to defend quite heavily.
Don't tease us, Jason. Okay, you're getting me excited now. I'm desperately ready to watch this
might be
race.
quite an interesting start. If I'm right in saying that the leader starts on the outside, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't looked. This is getting me excited.
Good.
Right, well, this is the first corner.
Nerves are through the roof.
So this is Paddock Bend, and Rowan unfortunately losing it, and that will mean that he does not get another qualifying lap. He will not have enough time to get around.
Right, I'm going to bring, let's see, sorry, every time I flick out the stream will stutter a bit. Gav, if you have the ability to put people into channels, don't you?
I do.
Oh, I think you should do that, because every time I tab out, my OBS is going to stop.
Well, who would you like to speak to?
Let's have a chat to Bongo, because he looks pretty content there. And I'm wondering why he's been in there for so long. So Bongo, I think his name should be changed in the Discord.
So Bongo, I've muted your microphone just in case you were mid-sentence, but we've dragged you in as we want to ask you a few questions, and I'm unmuting you now. How are you feeling going into the race, Bongo?
Kind of annoyed. I managed to pick up a grid place penalty for speeding in the pit lane instantly, but
Oh, all right.
honestly, it might actually be an advantage. Front row, first place actually starts on the left of this track, and the first corner's right-hander.
Yeah.
So there is an advantage of starting on the even-numbered spots.
We were
So
just
I'm
talking
going to
about
dive bomb Ollie in the first corner and
But
steal
before we
third.
go anywhere with that, you compete in green power. No running in the pit lane. It's written down in law. You should know better. I'm absolutely horrified to hear you got a grid penalty. But back to what you were saying about grid positions.
The even-numbered cars start on the inside the track, so it means I've got the inside run up to the first corner.
Oh,
So I'm just
no.
going to dive bomb Ollie and steal third.
And that oh no from Jason just cements it, as we now have the qualifying position.
Oh, I should have
You're-
given myself a grid penalty.
Oh, here we go. What we're gonna do is have a
So
we'll have
if
one
you
of the
stick
trackside
on-
view.
Trackside and go to 5th place is what I would generally do.
Yep, I reckon that's a good idea.
And then just follow that through the best you can.
Yeah, I mean, if Jason and Bongo, if you want to head back over
Well,
to
I will move you back. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for
Thank you
spending
very
that
much.
time with us.
Righty-ho. So the
So-
current lineup: Jason in first, AJ in second, got Ollie in third. He's been very consistent all season.
Ben, could you bring up the timings?
Oh, sure, yeah.
On the bottom right, there'll be a timings.
Oh,
There you go.
Logic.
Keep an eye out. Make sure you catch the start of the race.
So, we've got Jason the first. Oh, hang on.
Remove the timings. I take it back.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, we'll put those away. I'm not entirely sure when it's starting. So,
But the first row of the grid are the two race winners so far this season, Jason and Adam. Third place is Ollie, currently our championship winner, remaining consistent, but let's see if he gets beaten by the raw pace of the two in front. Bongo Cat, really respectable fourth, with I think that is Martin in fifth.
yep.
Max has taken sixth spot, and I don't know who seven is. Is that a new
Tom
contender?
Evans. Here we go.
And I think we are now at the start of the race. Here we go. Adam flashing his lights.
He knows we're watching. Oh,
And we're racing, and that was an amazing start from the back there. I think that was fifth place, getting
Yeah.
a really good track off the corner. And is Adam alongside going into the first corner? He is! Going down the inside, Jason on the outside.
oh,
And I think that's
contact.
Ollie getting really close behind. And that is Adam up into first position as they are now battling, going into Druids. A very slow corner.
Oh, Ollie was
Massive,
running Bongo
brilliant.
wide.
Brilliant defending there and attacking. So Ollie remaining in third place, but Max is now into fourth with Bongo falling over.
Whoa!
And we have contact, a spin. That is Bongo Cat spinning, going down the grid. Oh no, and there's major contact.
Mayhem.
Parts are flying in the back of the screen there. And
So-
we'll take a little bit of time to see if we can work it out. Who is where? But Bongo Cat, third I think, or fourth on the grid with the grid penalty, and now down into 10th. What a terrible start.
Oh, there's some action going off on the front. This is an interesting chase.
So Jason on the heels of Adam. He was quicker during qualifying, but Adam got into that first corner, and as Jason was telling us, overtaking is very difficult at Brands Hatch, and it's easy to defend. So we now have 20 laps of raw competition between Adam and Jason. Can Adam keep his cool and keep Jason behind him?
I think Ollie's gonna be desperate to catch up with those two, but oh
Oh no, not Joel involved.
Joel, no, Joel,
Ruben.
the dark horse has fallen.
So I think that was Joel and Ruben having some form of a come together. Joel is in 8th though, with people having a couple of collisions around the grid. Alfie looks like they've kept out of trouble with a nice clean car.
We'll work our way up the grid, shall we, to 5th. It's all nice, and it's actually more spread out than it was than I remember in Alton, especially after one lap. But however, that is being said, this has got some pretty long, straighty, not so bendy bits in this course. So
I think what really happened was with Bongo Cat falling down the grid, I think that's caused everyone to space out just because of avoiding contact. And as we talk about
Oh,
Bongo, he tries to
Bongo,
go
oh,
through the inside.
oh.
Gets a little bit of a tap from Rowan, but I still think he gets through.
Yeah, Rowan's fell right back because of that contact.
And Bongo going quite deep into that corner there. I'm not sure if that's the racing line he's been using throughout the day. But he's pulled away quite convincingly now. So Bongo Cat, he is going to be working his way up the midfield to try and get back up some positions lost. He must be up absolutely livid with himself.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure we'll have to, rewatch that after and have a replay.
Oh, and Ben, I think we've missed it, but Jason's now in the lead.
No! How did we miss that? That's incredible driving.
Jason getting past Adam there, and Adam looks like he's coming back on him into Druid, so I'm not sure where that overtake was done.
It must have been on the penultimate corner, because we only just realised that just before that. But that long straight section, second sector to late second sector to early third, is really high speed and really easy to make really big gains on people. As I discovered when I was racing against you the other day, Gav, I kept trying to, it was this sector here that we're currently looking at where gains are made, because when you're behind, you have an easier reference point, which is obviously the person in front of you. And if you see them slip up, it's easy to see their mistake and preempt what course of action to take from there.
Exactly. Any loss of traction going through the corners means you can make a gain as you've lost speed. And going around that Clark curve, Brabham straight, it's all about what maximum speed you can achieve to maybe do a dive bomb into paddock end.
Wow. Jason's actually getting a few...
It looks as though he is going to run off into the distance as Adam is keeping close but not troubling the back of that car.
Yeah, 0.7 seconds behind. It's far from over, so we'll catch back up with them in a...
Actually, Adam is only 2 tenths behind now going into Druid, so I don't know how they managed that, but keeping it close, keeping it exciting.
Tight. See Adam getting a bit down in there. He did a very, very, very good corner there. This is where you can lose a lot of time, this corner. Very relatively slow, but they're keeping it up. They're keeping the revs in third, so that's interesting. Right, we'll go catch up with some others, I guess.
So whilst those two are battling, I think Ollie's on his own little race now in third place. Got a big distance between those behind. And is that Max going for an Alfie?
He's going for Alfie, yeah. He's going for a...
And that's a beautiful run down into Pilgrim's Drop.
What an overtake.
That was a beautiful overtake. So he got, as we were saying, he got the run out of Surtees, and that just meant he could drive down. And really, he wasn't troubled. A very clean overtake for Max. If we go back to Alfie's screen, I think we'll see they're very, very close still.
Oh.
And Alfie trying to go down the inside line as Max drifts a little bit wide. He is on the outside going into Sterling. This isn't an overtaking spot. Max keeping it. Almost runs Alfie wide, but great driving.
You've got to give props to Max for keeping that clean. He knew exactly where Alfie was and kept it wide so Alfie wouldn't be binned into the sand. So props to Max, who actually retains his place.
Brilliant defending. Yes. Brilliant. That was a chance, to be fair. They were alongside going into it. Really good opportunity, but it just didn't seem it was going to stick. Ooh. And Max goes out wide. Alfie somewhat follows. So can Alfie get into Druids? He's too far back.
I'd be very surprised if Max doesn't get some kind of warning from that track limits exceeded. And we'll see it come up in the bottom right if that happens. We'll just catch up with Martin, see what he's doing, because he's the one in front that they both want to catch. Not too far behind Ollie, actually. Of course, Ollie is, he's a solid 8 seconds. 8 seconds behind Adam. So. And
the thing is, they're still 5 tenths. They're still half a second within each other, Jason and Adam. But no one's catching them. Despite them battling, no one's catching them. So they are pulling away from this field.
Oh,
and that looks like that Max is cleared away from Alfie now.
Yeah, but I think a progressing story here is Bongo's comeback. He's come back from 11th. He's now in 8th. He's obviously looking to get as far up the order as possible to gain as many points as possible. He probably knows he definitely can't come first or second. Guarantee he knows that. But he's going to try and get as close to Ollie probably as possible.
Well, never say never in motorsport. If those two run into each other, who knows what could happen. As there's only 0.2 of a second between them now. I think they must be going into Druids. That's where Jason, and they are, that is where Adam really catches up a lot of time on Jason. So he seems to have the quicker advantage in that first sector, but he cannot get close enough going through the GP complex. He cannot keep the gap to a minimum.
I'm just looking at their brake lights there and their braking times. It's spot on, exactly the same as each other. It was in exactly the right places. They were just coming off at exactly the same point. So you can see how they just know the course so well, and no one's dabbing their brakes.
I was convinced. He pulls to the inside there, braking the toe. I'm not sure if he needs to cool down the engine if it's already overheating. That was a very interesting dive down. Break off the racing line as he goes onto the grass a little bit, but he keeps it clean. And Jason loses a bit of traction going into Sterling. That brings Adam closer to the rear. Nice camel work then.
Let's have a look what they're doing here. Zoom.
So this might be the closest Adam has been able to stay to the back of Jason through that final GP complex, but can he keep the advantage as Jason's pulling away?
I'm just surprised that he's struggling to gain on the straights because of the section.
Oh no! And Adam goes off wide as well, and that has lost him the opportunity. Oh! Someone moves in on Jason.
That'd be Jonathan.
Jonathan now being overtaken by the lead runners. This is only the 6th lap, but already that race pace is showing, and Adam's going to have to come through shortly. I hope Jonathan will let him through. Adam's still quite far behind. Got a bit of time to make up there, but such a shame. For 6 laps, Adam was staying on the heels of Jason, but that one little mistake was all it took to give Jason a commanding lead, and now Adam's got a lot of work to do. As Jonathan goes
wide, I wonder if he's gonna. He's giving the space just about. Well, there we go. So whilst Adam's trying to get back at Jason, we'll go have an explore of the rest of the order. Ollie there, just 10 seconds behind. The gap is still increasing regardless of Adam's mistake.
And Ollie himself going out a little bit wide. So I wonder if we have now reached that point of the race where tyres are already starting to fade, because Adam, known to be a consistent driver, losing it on Paddock Bend, and now Ollie as well, another consistent driver, having issues. I think traction is starting to become an issue.
Martin trying to get as close to Ollie as possible. I wonder if just the slight change in tyre wear, just not necessarily it being particularly worn. I say that as Ollie locks up, but yeah, I just wonder if that slight change is just catching people a little bit off guard, because you lose a little bit of traction, not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you can carry more momentum into corners with the 2-3 laps worth of tyre wear, especially in that first corner where we saw Ollie locking up a bit. Sometimes throw it right over the apex, get right over to the far side of the track and fling yourself straight back out with pretty much the same momentum you had when you went in. So yes,
Jonathan getting out of the way of Ollie there. I was wondering if that would give Martin a chance to catch up to Ollie, because Martin seems to be making ground up on Ollie. He's getting closer.
There's Jonathan there, just flinging himself all over the track. Very nice. Get racing in the A45.
Well, this is a race for all abilities. Absolutely everyone is welcome. Of course, we have standouts in the grid, but we're more all about the overtaking and the battles rather than the pure race winner.
Of course. We've got Alfie here. I wonder if... Yep, as I thought. Keith is just behind Alfie. This will be interesting.
So I think that's the last section of the GP complex going into the last corner, Clark curve.
He's quite wide.
And Alfie up onto the curve there, riding the curve. So can Keith use the added speed to catch up? They're not gaining, maybe they are just, but just. It's not much. And Alfie with a big drift, a big slide, but I think Keith's following as well. And it's ever close.
gonna try and get
Looks
inside.
for a slight dive.
It might be.
Alfie outbreaks himself, and that's given Keith a chance to get right onto the bumper.
I'll be surprised if he doesn't switch the inside now. He's going to get as close as he can. No.
Alfie
Breaks
has
a
it
little too
covered.
hard, loses a bit of time on Alfie.
I think Alfie had that covered. He could see it coming. He knew where he was slow. But he's also going out wide here, and now we're going into a long straight section. And
there we go.
Keeps alongside
Oh.
the bumper. Alfie leaves him room, and I think he's got him past already
Yeah,
before we're
perfect.
midway down the straight. Brilliant drive by Keith there. He had the power, and Alfie is now chasing to see if he can do anything. Is that Keith going out wide?
Oh!
He's gone out wide! Oh no, out onto the gravel. He lost it after a brilliant overtake, and Alfie just kept it cool, and now Keith is back on the rear of Alfie, trying to chase him down.
Wow, that was unexpected. I feel like Keith may have choked on his own ambition there. That was a Star
That's
Wars
such
quote.
a
Yes, it was.
shame. That's such a shame. He had an opportunity there to drive away, but maybe he just got a little too excited. The
Meanwhile,
pressure really does get to you.
Bongo has managed to cut time down by another second because of that incident. So you can see his time's decreasing all the time. I just wonder how he's doing. Oh, he's on the home straight. Oh, I reckon that's going to
only
be
5.3 seconds behind the fight in front.
that's going to be interesting. That fight is going to sustain Bongo's comeback. So we'll see how that
As
goes.
you say that, Bongo keep it on the track.
Oh,
And
okay.
Speaking of being on the track, Jonathan once again. I think
behind
this is
him?
more of a
Oh,
rally
it's
cross
Alfie.
race.
Oh God, is this battle not over? So what's going on here?
It's not. Jonathan getting in the way, impeding the lap a little bit, but he's sticking to the outside line. But that has hampered Alfie, so
He's cut right back over. So he makes
that's
it.
an awesome
He's made it. He's made it.
side by side.
Here's Jonathan. Jonathan's all over the place.
Here's our
That's amazing.
on-track cameraman.
Oh, I love Jonathan so much. What a god. In all fairness to Jonathan, he only got the game very recently, so he's probably the newest addition. I think this is his first race actually, proper race, because he accidentally dropped out of the previous one. So all props to him for joining. To be honest, we couldn't do this without the drivers, so thank you to all the drivers for taking part.
Exactly, and I think the closest battle is still Alfie and Keith. At the
Yeah.
moment, they still seem to be 2 tenths apart between each other.
Yeah, Max and Martin though. Let's have a look at what's going on there. Oh, gone right
And you
at the
you picked out a brilliant battle here. I think that's Martin on the outside. Max managing to get through. No, it's Martin in front and Max behind.
My God. Let's get a roof view of Max, shall we?
And it wasn't too long ago that these guys were battling close to Ollie. So Ollie, I think, has once again gotten away. And only 4 tenths separate them as they go down this long straight.
A lot of time to be gained on this corner. It's a very fast corner. People think it's a huge braking point when it really isn't. Use all the track there, go out wide. My personal
As much
experience.
speed as you can.
Drop a gear and just carry on through the high revs, keep you in the grip. So.
And this is one of the biggest challenges of Brands Hatch. There is no forgiveness if you run off the track. It is gravel traps everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's
A
also
real
worth,
race circuit.
worth saying that there's a lot of blind corners. For example, this one coming up, you cannot see the road beyond the corner, so you have no idea where it's going. Of course, luckily it's one of the more infamous corners, so people remember it. Yeah, just looking around for more battles. Adam's really falling behind with the 7 seconds. Nowhere to be seen with the
Jason, once Jason has that clear air, he is very much gone. He controls the race really well, managing his tyres, managing his fuel load, and this is really his element. In first place, not being troubled by anyone. Maybe a couple of back markers that he needs to overtake.
This is a slightly shorter race today, only 20 laps, purely due to the length of the track. It does feel longer, doesn't it? It feels
The amount of corners really adds to the challenge.
Yeah. Long, sweep.
We did consider doing the Indy circuit, but maybe at a later date. That would be a very fun but very chaotic in overtaking, filled with overtakes, that race.
Yeah.
And is this Max on the heels of Martin once again?
Everyone's sustaining their own little battles. There's they come off and wait a bit, and then they get back on the gas and back on the heels. And sometimes there's trades, as we saw with Keith, Alfie. Oh, what was that?
I'm not quite sure. I was wondering if that was Bongo Cat. I'm really not sure. Definitely not Bongo Cat.
Definitely not. Definitely not. So Keith and Alfie still at each other's throats.
And Keith braking very early there. Alfie maybe going a little bit deep. Does he go wide? No, Keith goes wide, but keeps it onto the track.
Braking hard.
And it must be frustrating knowing that you're getting closer, but just struggling to overtake. It's all about keeping your nerve. 7 laps remain, so it's not as if you have to get it done straight away.
After going very, very hot wide there, I wonder if he's going to pick up a penalty.
Well, I think to the left of our screen, all the red colours that we can see, quite a few drivers have received penalties.
Yeah.
Jason, it looks like, is one of them. So I'm sure that won't hamper him too much, as it's probably just a 1-second penalty applied to his race at the end. And there's a puff of smoke up ahead, but no one off the track. Into Sterling.
Whoa! I thought Max was going to bin it into the gravel there. He just hung on to it.
Got a bit of a wobble, and
Yeah.
that has let Martin catch up a little bit. So we're past the halfway section, and just to recap, although we missed it, Adam did a brilliant job on the race start to get first place from Jason. He held it for what was roughly 2 or 3 laps, and somewhere on this track, Jason managed to reclaim the lead and run off into the distance with a virtually 11-second gap. He's missed a race, but he has returned without any rust whatsoever. He is more eager to win than ever, I think, with some points that he needs to catch up.
Oh. That's lucky that had no repercussions on Jason. That little wall bump. That has happened before. Jason didn't actually go into it, but on the first race we did at Silverstone, it's on. I think it was Alfie or someone else beginning with an A. I can't remember. Andrew. That's one. Andrew. His car just went sideways. Jason nearly went into the back of him, but managed to avoid him, as he was lucky this time as well. Coming up to another back mark. Here we go. See if he can pass Jonathan here.
And I hate to draw attention to it, but I think this is the second time Jonathan is going to be lapped.
Well,
Jason,
I reckon
really
Jonathan's
good.
just having his own merry time.
And it looks like he's going to get the job done on the outside, going down that main straight, and he does. Cleanly by.
Oh,
But does Jonathan look for another... I mean, he is entitled to unlap himself,
of course, of course.
but he is not close
and I
enough.
don't think that's going to happen.
So another brush with the tyre barrier for Jonathan. There'll be more paint on the barriers than there will be on his car by the time this race is done.
There we go, Bongo. Clawing his way back. 7th place now. Keith dropped behind him. I don't know when that happened. Sorry, my bad.
And that was another story that was missed from the start.
I know.
Bongo Cat started, I believe, 4th place and then got into some trouble in the midfield and fell all the way down to 11th, now working his way back up to 7th. It's a good recovery story for him.
Yes, everyone loves a comeback, an underdog. Even though he wasn't an underdog at the start, but nevertheless, he's an underdog now.
And he is someone who's always had the pace, but has somewhat struggled to maintain the consistency during the race. So I think he knows where to work on in terms of improving his race pace. And we're starting to see it now as he comes back up against Alfie. With that lap time dropping, the gap dropping, they're now only a second between them.
So we can see the little battles going on here. I think there's a Jason and Alfie just come past a back marker. Yeah, there we go. Oh! Joel's hanging on for dear life here.
So we mentioned it before. Jason has somewhat taken Joel under his wing as he gives Joel a little tap. Almost sends him off, but
That
Joel
is-
keeping it on. And Jason was giving Joel a couple of pointers during some practice sessions they were doing in the build-up to this race.
I actually think there's some cross-competitor communications going on here, because there is a specific strategy where you can give someone a bumper boost and it just sends them into the corner. And I think that's what Jason is definitely skilled enough to execute it. And I think, okay.
As he goes through everything, and
that
the
was
pit
blatant.
maneuver on Joel, that is definitely worthy of a talking to from the stewards. That is absolutely
That
outrageous
is
behaviour.
criminal. That is criminal.
Just as you praised Jason for having the raw speed, the ability to do a clean overtake on Adam, and he goes and does that move on a back marker, that is absolutely unsportsmanlike, and I think he deserves a rap on the knuckles for that one. That
I
was
think
terrible.
we'll be definitely talking to him after the match about that one.
And Max and Martin really close to each other. 2 tenths per second was between them. They've pulled apart a little bit going through the final corner. So Max and Martin, 2 names that are sticking close side by side.
3 laps left in the race. That is from the leader, of course.
And Joel is up into the points. I'm not sure how much Jason impacted his race, but Joel is still in the points with a 9th place.
So I can see as I'm
And that's-
going past Joel now. I wonder if this is going to be as clean as it was. Jason.
So Jason definitely hit the bumper of Joel quite a few times there, pretty much forcing him to get out of the way. I think Adam's much more courteous with a flash of the lights to warn him that he's coming through. This is the race leader coming through. Well, 2nd place, of course.
A little bit further up the order than that.
And is that a battle between the two, or was a...
Sorry, what's that? There we go. Ah, nice and clean. Much cleaner than last time, put it that way.
So the same place where Jason got past, but without Joel going into the gravel.
Jason crossing another lap marker there. Max is still hot on the heels of the duo in front of him, sorry, and Martin and Ollie. I think that's the battle between Martin and Ollie is definitely given Max the opportunity to make some serious ground, which I think he has. Oh, there's another battle behind though. There it is. Alfie and Bongo's past him. Bongo's up into 6th. So I'm not doing my job very well here, guys. I'm not providing the content that we deserve, but
So that's another overtake done. It's okay. It's in the replay. We can always go back and watch it
exactly.
and get the camera angles we want.
I think this is going to be the pack to watch. Chase pack. Oops, I received another pen.
And once again, just to everyone, a big apology on my part for having some massive PC issues before starting the stream, led to the stream being delayed. and Ben having to bow out from racing to help us out with this commentary and the camera angles. So thank you,
Yeah.
Ben, for
Well,
being
apologise for
sacrificing your points actually, because you were doing quite well in the championship. You had a third place at Silverstone and a fourth, I think, maybe a fifth actually at
Yeah.
Alton.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a drop at Alton. I was looking forward to getting. I hadn't practiced this this circuit as much actually. I've been preoccupied with my force feedback wheel, which I've had to reprogram. I might re-release it.
Sorry, Ben, but
Oh.
I think Max just overtook Martin as Martin went off into the
Yes.
gravel trap. For a second there, I thought it was a back marker.
Yeah, same.
As the timing wasn't coming down. But no, that was actually Martin. So Max is now up into 4th position on the heels of the podium. That's some really good points for Max. And he won't believe it. He's just been gifted 4th place. I think
Wow.
Martin's tyres have ran their course and they have ran out of rubber. Because you do not expect a car to lose it through Clark Curve like that.
Well, let's just have a look at what Martin's doing. He's chilling out right now. I'm not sure what's going on.
Maybe running out of fuel. That could be another option, as
Oh,
drivers are in
he's
charge
really
of their own
conserving it.
fuel load.
He's staying on a low gear. Yeah, I think he's run out of fuel. Running out of fuel,
Oh
sorry.
no, that's terrible stuff. There are no pit crews here.
Yeah,
or
he's
crew
on
chiefs. He
0.6
only has
litres.
himself to blame. And that's a brilliant spot. Brilliant spot, Ben. So he's running out of fuel. 4th place position, Martin is going to be gutted with that decision he made back in the pits. As he goes into the gravel, he kind of knows that you cannot
just
do
wants to
another
make it
lap
to
on
the,
0.4.
He's just trying to make it to the pits.
Oh, this is a sad, sad story. This is a horrible sight to watch.
2 litres.
He's not going to make it. There's not enough fuel in the tank unless you get out and push it for that last lap. I'm afraid Martin is going to have a DNF next to his name.
I reckon he's going to make
Such a
it to
shame.
pits.
Such a
I reckon he'll
shame.
make it. He's going to go pit. Because otherwise he'll DNF. Yeah, he's
Well,
gonna pit.
that's actually brilliant. Is our pit's enabled? This is a first. This is
Yes.
actually the
Oh,
first.
no! No, he's run out of fuel.
Has he?
No way. Oh, he's run out of fuel!
No! Martin on entry to the pit! He hits the barriers, which means he loses all momentum. And then on the restart, where he tries to rev it, he runs out of fuel.
Oh,
And that
no.
is Martin out of the race.
Oh, and also...
He was so close, Ben. I didn't even think about the
Oh,
pits as
Alfie's
an
run out of fuel.
opportunity.
Even worse, Alfie's run out of fuel. Just you can see the pit people over there. He's run out of fuel.
Oh, so you had to make it to your spot as
Yeah.
well. He is in lane, mid lane. In a normal race, you'd see the pit
that's
crew
torture,
come
that is.
running to try and push that car. And I think we missed it with all of that chaos. Jason coming back to win the 2nd race for him, the 3rd Green Power Virtual Series. And Adam in a very, very respectable 2nd place. He did everything he could. He put on a battle. He put on a show, but Jason kept it cool, found a spot to overtake, and Ollie, ever consistent, another 3rd place for Ollie. He is being really, really consistent and conservative. A bit of a professor when it comes to the points in the championship. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I think that will keep him in the lead.
There you go,
And
Max.
a lot of things happening down at the back. Max will be claiming 4th spot, and Bongo Cat, a redemption story for him, down in 11th place, brought it back to 5th. So he started 4th, ended up 5th. I don't think that's too bad as
I
a
think that's
redemption
solid.
story.
So clearly, some people underfuel their car. I think some people make the assumption that in the ECU tuning part, you are able, when it says it's going to go 20 laps, number of litres, it's going to go 20 laps. When in reality, when you drive the cars at manual, you often are over revving, thus using more fuel. So that litres number can depend upon the whether you're in automatic or manual. So 3 seconds after the race. There we go. And I've got a lovely
So
achievement.
I've already brought in the race winners. Just for my own benefit, Ben, is Adam race AJ?
Yes.
Okay, so everyone, welcome to the broadcasting room. You are live, so please do not swear. Brilliant race by everyone there, and I'm just going to unmute you as I am talking. We will start with the race winner. Jason, your fears were realised, and that first lap didn't go quite as planned.
No, that was quite an intense start. Spun the tyres a lot and pulled straight ahead of me. I was like, oh no, could be chasing.
I mean, Adam.
Came
What... Sorry, go on.
Given like the first section is only is basically the only place you can really overtake. Had to sort of think on my feet and go for that overtake into the carousel left-hander, go on the inside. So luckily made it stick. But yeah, he was right on me for the entire race. I was looking in my mirror constantly.
Oh no, it's awesome
And,
from our perspective.
Adam, are you here with us as well?
Adam?
I don't think he's with us just yet. Sorry, Ben, I cut
Am
you
I
off.
muted?
Oh, here he is!
Nice. So Adam, what did you think of that battle at the start? I mean, what did you think when you went off and gave the race lead, or wait, was it? No, I don't think you did. Well, explain to us. What were you thinking when Jason went to the lead?
Am I muted now?
Yeah, you're unmuted, you're unmuted.
Oh, that's fine. No, it's no. I knew off the start I had to get in front because I know Jason has the pace. I've been watching his time trial, and I knew where he overtook me on that carousel corner. I knew that was where it was going to come, so I just thought I had to get in front. I just had to get off the line faster. I did. Unfortunately, I knew it wasn't for long, but I just went for as best I could, to be honest. But yeah, I'm happy with it. Second place. Another.
Well, you say
yeah.
you knew it wasn't for long. It was a good 5 laps. Was there at any point a part of that where you thought, I could do this? I can keep him behind me.
Well, I'll admit that the first lap I started to pull away ever so slightly. And I was like, oh, do you know what? Hang on a minute, this could be it. But the second lap, I think it was, or the third, I can't remember. Whenever he overtook me, I was like, yeah, that's that. I'll just stick as close as I can. And yeah, but unfortunately, I made a few mistakes, and after that, I ended up 10 seconds back, and there we go.
Yeah, I'd like to say it was so much fun. Like I was under pressure all the time. That was a lot of fun.
Watching from behind, I must say it was very, very good battle. Very good battle.
Well, I was going to say, Ollie, congratulations on your 3rd place. Another podium, your 3rd successful podium.
Thank you
are
very
being
much.
really consistent in this championship.
Oh, thank you very much, Gab. Thank you. I'll keep it short, but I'll say some things after the race at the moment. But I think it was a good race. I loved it. The battle in between, I think it was me and Martin, and me and Tom at the start. There was some questionable manoeuvres. I do apologise for that. However, I think it was a very, very good race, tight racing, and I enjoyed it.
Right.
And, well, you've sparked a memory in my mind because you've mentioned some questionable overtakes. Jason! What was that pit maneuver on Joel?
Oh, that.
What
Okay.
dude, Joel?
Oh,
Yeah.
that little innocent move.
I would like to say the back markers that we actually came across. I think Adam would back me up. Like, you know, we had quite an easy time getting past, but then it got to Joel, and he decided to race me harder than probably what he should have done because it was putting us both at risk. I went to the outside. He came across my nose.
Oh yeah,
It was just I was not having any of it.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way
yeah.
do you
You
block
weren't
down the
even
main
passing.
straight for the leader.
If we're sparking memories from last week, then we must talk
Yeah, no,
about
last week.
Ben.
Joel, no, it was Joel. Joel again last week. He just sat in front of me for like just putting his brakes on, so I was just stuck on his rear bumper, and so I just punted him off the track eventually. But yeah, Joel's an interesting one to try and get past.
You can tell Ollie still has some vicious memories of.
I do.
I wish I was in this race so I could bin you off the track. Never mind, I didn't say that.
Yeah, I'd like to say, you know, it proves that Joel has the capacity to do some, you know, really, really hard racing. Like, you know, he's good.
Well,
He's
you
good.
got a respectable
But it
seventh.
hasn't.
Yeah.
He did after. Well, that's something that the race leaders might have missed actually. So 2 cars, I can't remember exactly their names, but one of them was Alfie, ran out of fuel on the last lap.
Oh, that's-
Both of them in the pits. They ran out of fuel in the pits.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, no. Actually, Martin was going to make it, and then he crashed the car into the wall. And then when he crashed the car, he couldn't get going again. There wasn't enough fuel.
No.
So honestly, it was unbelievable to watch. Well, congratulations to all 3 of you on the podium spot. I think we know where the battle's going to be now going forward between Jason and Adam. Adam, you've proved
I'm
that you
looking
have
forward to it.
you've proved that you've got the ability to get in front of Jason. We just need to see that come through now. I can't wait for your first race win against Jason.
Right.
Nothing against you, Jason, but the competition is on.
It's getting heated, isn't it?
But as we said at the start, this is just a bit of fun. This is purely just for fun.
Yes, of course. And that brings us
So
nicely,
Yep.
nicely
end.
to the end of the stream. Thank you for watching. If you were watching live, this will be made available after. And yes, the next Grand Prix is. Jason, would you like to remind us what it is? Which track?
I believe it's next week, and that is the Le Mans Special. So,
Oh,
so we're going to do a multi-class event. So LMP1 cars and GTEs. Split the field up a bit. You know, there'll be 2 winners, like for each class. Should be some good racing between them.
awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.